Welcome to TPM Vid's Disney Beat, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel and like what you see, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. You can also find us on all your favorite social media platforms. Tiana's Bayou Adventure is one of the newest attractions at Walt Disney World. It replaced the former Splash Mountain, and with the ride's transformation, Disney Imagineers left us so many hidden details to explore. So hold on to your hats, literally, as we count down the top 10 hidden secrets and Easter eggs on Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Number 10. When any Disney ride is rethemed, Imagineers always include references to its former life, and this is also true with Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Throughout the queue, you can find some special tributes to the now-defunct Splash Mountain. So we all know Splash Mountain followed the adventures of Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, and Brer Bear. Well, as you enter the main office of Tiana's Foods, the first thing you see is Tiana's desk. Like anyone's desk, it's filled with trinkets and supplies. Now, if we look at the top shelf, we can see that there are figurines of a bear, a fox, and a rabbit, which pays tribute to the main three Brer characters. Now, Brer Frog wasn't a main character, but I wouldn't be surprised if the frog placed on the shelf was in memory of him. By this point, you've probably already noticed the two riverboats. Sure, riverboats make brief appearances in Princess and the Frog, but placing them here along with the fox, bear, and rabbit is no coincidence. It's definitely a tribute to the Zippity Lady in the finale of Splash Mountain. Now, this isn't the only place in the queue where you can find tributes to the Brer characters. Once you're upstairs, take a peek inside the pantry because on the right-hand side, you'll find a cabbage cookie jar with a rabbit on the lid. Again, Imagineers could have placed any other cookie jar in here, but instead, they chose one with a rabbit. In my opinion, the rabbit here on its own sort of represents Brer Rabbit embarking on his solo journey to find his laughing place. Then, as you're exiting the ride, on top of the fireplace mantle, you can find a fox and a bear. Since Brer Fox and Brer Bear are left rabbitless at the end of Splash Mountain, it makes sense for only these two animals to appear here at the end of your Bayou adventure. I mean, Imagineers left us such subtle details that give us the perfect tribute to Splash Mountain. Number 9. The attention to detail in the queue is exactly what you'd expect from Disney, and this space is also used to help set up the story of the ride. Now, what is the story exactly? Well, the main premise is that Princess Tiana is throwing a Mardi Gras celebration and needs to find a band to play at the party. The first clue can be spotted as soon as you pass under the bridge. This poster sets up the Mardi Gras party is happening tonight. Now, once you enter the main office, there's a calendar on the right-hand side of the wall which tells us it's 1927, February 26th to be exact. Now, on the table in front of Tiana's desk is a newspaper with a headline that reads, "Princess Tiana throws Mardi Gras party for all of New Orleans." Then if you keep on reading the article, there's a blurb on the right-hand side that says, when asked which band would be playing at Tiana's party, Lewis said, "Beats me, Naveen is taking care of that." But there is one problem. On this board here, Tiana has given Lewis the task of hiring the band. So at this point, there is no band for the party, hence the whole premise of the ride. You'll even hear Tiana over the radio say that they're looking for the band, and once you're upstairs in the kitchen, there's a note from Tiana on the chalkboard that says, "Don't forget, celebration at my house tonight." This Mardi Gras party means beignets will be served, so who wouldn't want to be there? Number 8. Now, in addition to the Brer character tributes, the queue also has some tributes to other elements from Splash Mountain, as well as one leftover relic. So first off, outside, there are a bunch of birdhouses scattered on top of the fan poles. They all follow this same realistic style of house and pay tribute to the birdhouses that could be found in the queue when it was Splash Mountain. These birdhouses were a lot more whimsical with curved lines and bright colors, which is much different than the ones in the queue today. Well, that is except for one. Just across from the restrooms at the ride's exit, there's this blue birdhouse, and it's actually a leftover relic from when this was Splash Mountain. It's really fun to know that one of the original birdhouses still lives on, and I just love the look of it. Also, remember in Splash Mountain how they would use needlepoint knitted signs? Well, 2 new signs were incorporated into Tiana's Bayou adventure to pay tribute to the now defunct ride. There's this one in the main office which has a quote from Dig a Little Deeper. Then once you exit the ride, this happily ever after sign appears on the fireplace mantle. Number 7. In Princess and the Frog, we learn that Tiana's dad James was a World War I veteran. So this hallway in the queue is set up to honor him and the time he served in the war. There are so many pictures and notes which are very heartfelt if you get a chance to read them. I mean, Tiana's dad was such an influential figure in her life. After all, he was the one who taught her how to make gumbo. You can actually find his famous gumbo recipe hung up on the wall, and it gives you all the ingredients and cooking instructions. I'm sure by now someone has tried to make it, but if not, maybe you can be the first one. I mean, it looks like Tiana has a pot on the stove herself. The details in the kitchen are impeccable. These beignets are just props, but they look so realistic and delicious. Plus, that jar of honey is the exact same jar of honey Tiana uses in the film. Isn't that cool? She even left her beignet recipe on the counter. Now in Princess and the Frog, Eudora gives Tiana her dad's gumbo pot. It became one of her prized possessions. So hidden under the island, you can find that very same gumbo pot in the kitchen. Sometimes the line moves so quick that there isn't enough time to take it all in, but the Imagineers' attention to detail is impeccable. They truly nailed it. Number 6. Parked outside the main entrance is the Tiana's Foods delivery truck. Now, whether this is a replica or an authentic antique piece, this is exactly what a Ford Model A looked like in 1927. Now, a keen eye will notice that the license plates on both the front and the back are missing. They are nowhere to be seen. Once you enter the main office, there's a corkboard on the back wall that has a poster looking for a missing license plate. The number is 71975. Well, once you make your way into the Bayou, the first band of critters on the ride plays Zydeco music. The grass in front does obstruct things a little bit, but if you take a look at Gritty the rabbit, she appears to be the thief. Gritty snatched that license plate from the truck and found a way to use it as a washboard. I feel like the numbers on the license plate also stand for something, but I can't figure it out. I mean, if it's a date, it becomes July 19th, 1975. So does anyone have any idea of what it could stand for? Maybe something Disneyland related? Comment below what you think. Number 5. Now, the queue isn't the only place to find hidden tributes to Splash Mountain. We all know with Tiana's Bayou adventure, the ride path stayed the same, and a lot of the set from Splash Mountain was just redressed. Many of the trees were just recycled and repainted since they already had that Bayou look, but there is one new tree that honors Splash Mountain. So as you approach the first Tiana animatronic, there's a tree stump in the background. It just so happens that this tree stump looks an awful lot like Chickapin Hill, doesn't it? The silhouette is just flipped, but again, nothing Imagineering does is just a coincidence. Now as you float further on down the Bayou and past the Rah Rah Band, you'll approach Tiana and Louis for the third time.
They sure can't wait, but we gotta keep searching high and low. How long can I go?
Well, since Louis is stuck looking into a rotten log, it's just his behind. But if you remember back to Splash Mountain, Brer Bear was also stuck in a very similar position. It was just his behind, and Louis's behind is just a little behind where Brer Bear used to be. I love that Imagineers still paid tribute to this little moment, but Louis stuck in the tree stump is also an Easter egg to a quick little moment and gonna take you there from Princess and the Frog. Then just before you're going up the big lift hill, you'll hear Mama Odie say,
"Let's get you big again, cause the bigger you are, the bigger the splash you'll make in the heart."
Again, it's no coincidence that Imagineers had her say splash, leaving us another little reminder of the ride's past. Number 4. Once Mama Odie shrinks you down to the size of a frog and sends you into the tree stump, you're introduced to the last critter band. This group of frogs brings the jazzy sound of Afro-Caribbean music into the ride. We have the iconic Mondo on the congas, Felipe is on the piano, Mayra is on the trumpet, and the youngest Isabel is on the bongos. Like most of the other critters on the ride, their instruments were made out of things found around the area. But 2 of these instruments were created from missing items in the queue, particularly Mondo's congas and Felipe's piano. So when you walk into the main office of Tiana's Foods, on the table you'll see that the bottle is missing its cap and the box of chocolates doesn't have a lid. Well, it turns out the frogs got a hold of these items and turned them into their instruments. The brand of chocolates are Be Jolly, which must be a New Orleans exclusive, and you can see that part of the name is showing on Felipe's piano. Then the ginger ale is a dry ginger ale with a red logo, and if we look at the bottle caps on Mondo's congas, you can see the exact same logo. Now the real question is where we can find the other 2 bottles of ginger ale in the queue. That is, if they exist. Number 3. Just outside the Critter Co-op shop, there's a mailbox. This used to belong to one of the Brer characters, but now it belongs to Larry. He's also found a pair of tap shoes, but who is Larry? Well, he's this mischievous armadillo who's a bit of a junk collector and can be found 3 times on the ride. The first time he pops up is in the garden where he's trying to steal a red onion. Oh, and he also has an eye patch. The second time he appears is just after the big drop, sporting an umbrella made from some plants. And finally, in the finale, he's rolled up and perched himself on the base of the lamppost, which has been knocked over. Out of the 19 new critters for the ride, he's one of the only non-musical ones. But actually, 2 of the critters already made an appearance in Princess and the Frog. At the end of the film, when Tiana and Naveen get married, Apollo the raccoon and Rufus the turtle are seen in a reaction shot. It was a small little cameo, but little did they know that they'd be starring in a ride and playing the tunes to take us down the bayou. Number 2. So as I was watching logs go down the flume, I heard some guests say these frogs are Naveen and Tiana looking up at the stars of Ray and Evangeline. Now, yes, the stars on the tiara are actually a hidden nod to Ray and Evangeline. And although it would have been a fun detail, these frogs are not Tiana and Naveen. Since Tiana's Bayou adventure takes place after the film, they never actually appear as frogs in the ride. So who are these frogs? Well, they go by the names of Gloria and Dolores, and they are the other 2 non-musical critters who appear a few times on the ride. Their eyes actually follow you as your log floats on by, but after you pass them in the finale, you can also spot Ray and Evangeline's stars in the sky right here. Actually, Imagineers hid their stars 2 other times in the ride. One is by the children's garden in the outdoor queue. It's right on the side of the stand. Then the stars can also be found in the stonework on the ground just before you enter the main office. Number 1. It wouldn't be a Disney ride without hidden Mickeys. So here are the ones I spotted on my ride-throughs. The first one can be found in the safety video before you get on the ride. The hidden Mickey is made out of the greenery on that tree, and can I say how much I love this style of art? They were very creative with this video. Then as you enter the bayou at the beginning of the ride, the lily pads to the left of the frog log form Mickey's silhouette. Now this next one isn't a hidden Mickey, but it's a hidden Lewis. As you pass this part in the garden, all of the unripe squash and pumpkins were put together to create the full-body silhouette of the Jolly Alligator. And it is no accident that the Louisiana gator peppers are planted right beside it. Once you make your way into the bayou and approach Mama Odie, the magical honey, or whatever that liquid is,
Time to make big! Time to get tiny!
forms a hidden Mickey out of the sparkle shimmers at the end. It doesn't happen all the time since there are multiple pieces of dialogue, and although I didn't see this one in person, I have seen it in other videos, so keep your eyes peeled. Then 3 of Mondo's warts right here form an upside-down hidden Mickey. And lastly, in the finale, there's a double-tier stand behind Eudora with beignets on it. The bottom tray actually has a Mickey-shaped beignet. I was too busy having the camera face the animatronics, but when I looked to the left, it was definitely there. So what is your favorite hidden detail on Tiana's Bayou adventure? What are your thoughts on the ride? I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below to start a conversation, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video.